Hi, I'm Susie, and today I have a live model. This is Katie.
Hi.
Hey, Kate. And we have a natural nail we're going to work on today. I've had many people ask me about how to prepare a natural nail, how to take care of your natural nails. I'm going to show you a few great tips on how to take care of your natural nails. Let's get started. So Katie, your natural nails are actually pretty long. So before I begin any service, I have the client wash their hand. You just send them to the washroom with a little scrub brush and some soap and water, and they can wash their hand. The reason why we do that is because if you don't wash their hands, when you start working on them, all you're going to do is spread all the germs around that they have all over their fingers. So by washing them first helps prevent that. Okay, so the first thing I do when I'm doing natural nails is I push the cuticle back. So there's two things you can do it with. So that's a wooden cuticle pusher. And you can also use a metal implement. And if you look on the metal instrument, at the opposite end is kind of the shape that might just fit right into your cuticle. If you use a metal implement, you just want to be careful because it's really easy to scrape and scratch the natural nail if you press too hard. It's effective because you can get in there with all this stuff, but a wooden cuticle stick is much softer and much more gentle on the natural nail. So the first thing I do is I'm going to start pushing. Now this is a misconception. A lot of people call this area around the finger, the base of the finger, the cuticle, when in fact it's called the, get ready now, Eponychium. So you can see when you push back the cuticle and the Eponychium, you can see the white stuff sort of remaining. It's that organic sticky stuff that's stuck on the finger. That's actually the stickiest tissue on the human body. Just a little FYI. So when you push that back, you can sort of see that white stuff, and then some will get the sharp metally point and then sort of scrape that off a little bit. The reason why that's important for it to come off, if you don't take it off when you go to do your polish application, then it will interfere with the adhesion big time, and you don't want that. Especially when we're doing acrylic or nail enhancements, this has to be removed as well so we can actually make the nail enhancement adhere. If it's not removed, there's a good chance you're going to get some lifting, which is bad. Don't want that. So sticking to the natural nails, this is what we're doing. You can sort of see it coming off now if you can get a good close look at that. This is all the dead tissue. Cuticle is dead tissue. It is not live. And the reason why that's so important, the Eponychium right around this base here, this is the skin that covers the root of the nail. That's important because if that is broken or split or cracked or torn, that can allow infection into the rest of the body. So we want to make sure that that's all completely intact. So if you're taking a pair of sharp nippers like these, if you take a pair of these nippers and cut around the Eponychium near the old cuticle, you just don't want to cut the Eponychium because you don't want to have any contamination into her finger at all. The other funny word is the Hyponychium, and I'm hoping I'm saying it right. I can spell them, I just can't say them. Hyponychium is underneath here, and that's the very tender skin that's underneath the finger here, and that can be really, really super tender. That's right under there. So you've got the Hyponychium there and the Eponychium around here, but we are just simply pushing it all back and revealing this cuticle area and getting rid of all this white stuff.
What about hangnails?
Ooh, good question, Kate. What happens with hangnails is if you push your cuticles back, you will pretty much eliminate hangnails. You know, for years I started doing acrylic when I started doing this, and it was a few years later I realized, why don't I have any hangnails? It's because when you do the acrylic all the time, every month, the cuticle's getting pushed back to be able to put the enhancement in, therefore hangnails go away. Now you used to wear acrylic.
Yeah.
You probably noticed that you didn't have.
Exactly. I did notice that all the time.
Yeah, so now you've gone all natural. And do you experience hangnails sometimes?
A little bit more, definitely a lot more than I did for sure.
Yeah, and the best time to push back your cuticle is when you just come out of the shower because that's when it's softened, right? And there's things you can get for that. You can get these products. So these are cuticle softeners, and you can just actually, you have really great cuticles, Katie. They're not really hard. Some people are so hard you can literally,
I've seen it.
It's like cement. And those are probably people that don't really push back the cuticles.
Or they bite them?
Yes, exactly. So this stuff, you can actually just put a little bit on the cuticle and you can just leave it. It's a cuticle softener. You can put it on all the cuticles. Let that sit for a minute and it will actually soften the cuticle, so then it's much, much easier to push back, okay? So we can do that. And the reason why pushing back the cuticles is important too, especially in a manicure, to eliminate the hangnails, clean up the nail, and if you're putting polish on, you really want a nice clean area. I call it real estate. Lots of clean real estate there, and the more you get, the better, because then the nail looks longer and more slimline and sleek and all that kind of good stuff. And then you can really, when you put the polish on, you can make it really nice, smooth. If you don't remove it, if you put polish on top of that, it goes, oh my God, it looks dreadful. Just dreadful. Yeah. So you can use this end, like I say, this implement here. You just want to be really gentle with it. And you can use this one too, because you can see how sharp it is. You want to be very gentle with it when you're scraping the natural nail. Okay? So that's taking care of the cuticles. So when it comes to filing the natural nail, I just put my little things away. You can get some files here. Because these are natural nails, when I'm doing acrylic, of course, I will use the coarse. And that's more of a 100 grit. And then there is the medium, but I want the fine because these are natural nails, right? I'll just put my softener away. So Katie's, you've got really great natural nails. So I'm just going to file a little bit, you want to reshape somebody's natural nails up, or yourself. You want to just shape up your natural nails so they all look the same. Katie's are pretty good. Do you manicure them often?
Yeah, I keep them filed anyway. Yeah,
they look really clean. Good. So the best way when you're filing natural nails is just to go one way. Yeah, because they are made of a cross weave. So if you go back and forth like that, you're gonna fray it, just like a pair of jeans. If you cut a pair of jeans and there's no seam there, it'll just fray it. So by going the one way, you can go either way, but just make sure you go one way. And you want a nice soft file because a coarse one will just rip it, and you don't want to do that. Also too, here's a little tidbit. Everybody thinks that the oval is more of a natural shape, when in fact, this shape you have here, Katie, is actually much more natural. And the way I learned that, whenever a new baby's born, a friend in the family, I will take a look at the baby's fingers first. And every single time, baby's nails grow in like this. They grow in square. I actually Instagrammed that because a baby came in the shop and I wanted to post the nails on it. Were just, she was only a day or two old. The woman left the hospital within 12 hours, I think. So the baby was brand new and the nails were untouched. And just as they came out of the womb, they were just perfectly square. So that's how natural nails are shaped. So once I shape all the nails up, I've scraped away all the dead cuticle. I've made the nail smooth. Some people have very ridgy nails, and as people age, you can see that they'll be more ridgy. So if you get somebody with that, it's very tempting to take a file and just file the surface and get rid of all those ridges. But you don't want to do that because those ridges, the high point of the ridge are as thick as what the nail should be. The low point is the thin point. So if you file all the thick ridges to match down the low points and make it nice and smooth, it's beautiful. It's so thin, as it starts growing out, it'll split like crazy and drive your client crazy or yourself. So don't do that. What you want to do is you want to get a ridge filler. I just picked this one up and literally this stuff is great. You just it'll settle in the ridges. It's got like it says fiberized ridge filler. So they make the ridge filler specifically in a nude or a pinkish tone. So that when you paint it on, this fiberized ridge filler will settle in between those ridges and create a very, very smooth look ready for polish. So that's how you want to prepare it before polish. Okay.
Do you put a base coat on as well before?
You don't have to if you're using the ridge filler. That's a good question, Katie. I would only put a base coat on if you were doing like a strong color, like a red or a brick colored red or black or something that would stain the nail. Right. Light colors just don't stain. But that's a great question. So Katie doesn't have many ridges, but you can see how smooth that makes it. And it's almost drying in a matte fashion. So when you're finishing a nail, you can put the color on. And Katie's very natural, as you can see. She's a very natural, beautiful girl. So what we'll do is we'll put a shiny top coat on. You can also do a matte top coat. But for Katie, we're just going to do a shiny top coat and keep them as natural looking as possible. There we go. Beautiful natural nail. So let's finish up all the rest, and then we'll take a look at the reveal shots, eh, Katie? Well, these look really pretty. Well, thanks, Katie, for helping me. You know how hard it is for me to find a natural nail client? Everybody I know has acrylic.
Yeah.
Oh, and would you mind if I put them on Instagram?
Of course.
Yeah, that's great. I can't remember the name of my account. I think it's Nail Career Education. Oh, and I'm tweeting now. Can I tweet something about them?
Tweet away.
And that is, at Susie Nail Career. Yeah.
Got it.
I'm getting it.
Nailed it.
I'm getting it. Yeah. Thanks, Katie. Well, thanks for joining me for this natural nail do-it-yourself manicure. Thanks, Katie. See you soon.